Welcome to Citizen McCain. It's Wednesday, April 29th. I'm so happy to have you guys here today. Don't forget to raise your digital hand if you want to join the conversation, ask us a question. We would love that. We've had some great listeners, callers, hand holders lately. And if you're listening to the podcast, you want to join us on Zoom, you can register to do that at tway.tv/Megan. And lastly, if you have not subscribed to your YouTube channel yet, what are you waiting for? YouTube.com/@CitizenMcCain YouTube. Our little YouTube channel is chugging along,
Oh
but we'd
yeah.
love more subscribers. Okay, so really quickly, we have our friend, she's our friend Sarah, but she has an official title.
Yeah.
Lady Sarah Elliott of Micklefell. She sounds so
Sounds so
Lady
fancy.
Sarah Elliott of Micklefell. She's been a
Micklefell. That
Micklefell.
sounds like a show I would like to watch.
I know, and she's a lady her whole life. Like she'll be Lady Sarah the rest of her life, which is pretty
Even like,
intense.
chugging drinks on the Outer Banks. I love it. Just
I know,
lady.
totally.
Thing.
Yes. And she's American.
I
But
know.
she's gonna come on to talk everything royal because obviously King Charles is here in DC with Camilla doing an official royal visit. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance. They had a state dinner last night, and normally I'm like, but I think there's something nice about this kind of diplomacy, and I think it's good to have a little frivolous news and not talk about a shooting or whatever that's horrible in life going on
Murder,
right now.
attack, hateful rhetoric. Yeah. Let's have,
Yes.
can we just please, for the love of God, have some fun for like one day? Does everything
Yes.
have to be so serious?
Also, on a total side note, our Instagram is just an absolute dumpster fire of nastiness.
Oh my
I
God.
don't understand why you're following our work if you don't like us, but it is basically just like a hate club. Like it's like a place for just people to come together and hate everything. I don't read all of it, but I see some of it, and I just feel like we should not be interacting with one another if you hate our work so much. Like you can move on, go find someone else. The guys at Crooked Media will tell you everything you want to hear about how Republicans are the devil. You can say that all day long, but
Yeah.
it's just so perplexing to
there's
me.
there's like no shortage of an echo chamber for what they want, and like,
Yes,
and they
yes.
all are experts on what we should be talking about. Also, like, why are you talking about this when this happened? It's like, become a no one is stopping you from ordering a microphone on Amazon and setting up a camera and doing this yourself. Like, go nuts. Sorry. Like, if you are such an expert in everything, you do it. It's
Also,
super
literally
easy.
every other channel except this one. Like you can find what you're looking for any place you look.
But also, like,
Go
we
wrong.
are normal. Like, this is the least crazy of all the places. I feel like. So if we are too crazy for you, feel free. Aaron Parnas, Midas Touch. There's lots of places to go.
I don't even
Um,
know who Aaron Parnas is, but sure.
yeah, I'm just saying there's a lot of places on the where you can hear exactly what you think vomited back at you on Instagram. Go for it.
Also, I want to make one more personal comment, then we'll move on. I was my daughter's class reader yesterday in the morning, which I did like bright and early. I had to be there like right when I dropped her off at like 8 o'clock. And 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, I think that's the age range. They're a rough audience. They were not laughing at I'm not kidding. They were like not laughing at my jokes. They didn't really like the voices I was doing in the book
Oh
reading, like the
no.
kid book reading. Yeah, I would share a photo, but there's children in the photo that are not my child, and I would put the things on it. But it's like pretty hilarious. But I was like, I think maybe I'm losing my edge. I think I'm losing my touch. The kids were not into me. Like, it
Maybe
kind of
it,
pissed me off. I was like, don't you know I talk for a living? God, don't you know I'm a host? I'm an Emmy nominee
okay,
and winner?
well,
Come
what
on.
was
Like,
the book? Like, maybe it wasn't a great book. Like,
no, we read a
was it
good
your
one. It was
book?
a Yes, it was about an iguana.
No, I meant like your children's book that you wrote. I'm like, I don't want to
No,
insult
no, it wasn't
your
my
book.
children's book. It was like one, but I yesterday I like kind of put my feelings about it, and like Ben was like, "How'd it go?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't think I landed that. I don't think I landed my school reader
You know what? We can't
thing."
all be
So
good at everything. So
no,
that is one of your shortcomings, Co. So,
kids, man.
if you're not the best with
Yeah,
strangers' kids, but your kids like you,
yeah,
then that's still a win. It's all right.
yeah. The little preschoolers are
I would
gonna be
not,
something
I don't
else.
know. I mean, I love kids. I used to coach kids in gymnastics. I think I could probably land this, but this is me being overconfident. I'd go in there and I'd probably like exit the room side, like shuttle, like scuttle walk out. Like, I don't think I would finish it. But that sounds, I love that you did that. Putting
Yeah,
yourself
I
out
was a
there is
class
brave.
reader. Yeah,
Yeah,
we should
I
all. What
like
is
it.
it? What is it like the thing from Girls? Fine, laugh at someone who had the courage to put themselves out there
Yeah,
creatively.
sure. Laugh at the girl who had the courage to put her.
Fine.
Oh my God,
Laugh
I
at the
love how
mom who
Marty.
decided to give it a shot. But I'm like up in my feelings about it. Like it's like class reader. So yeah, I don't think I nailed that one. So all right. I don't know where I was going with that, other than I'm getting a lot of negative reinforcements from the world, including on our Instagram
Oh,
page. So
and then the
I'm
kids
gonna
didn't like
try.
you either, so you
I
need
don't
someone
I
to like
really
you.
I don't think I'd be I don't think they'd ask me back. Anyway,
They're
one
like,
thing
we need chaperones for the field trip, but don't ask.
well,
Don't ask.
Ben's doing that one. Ben's doing that. Which
Cece
Ben
was
is like
Cece was
last
like
final thing.
crying.
When you go to have meetings with the parent teacher meeting, the best thing for me is seeing Ben try to sit in those little chairs. Those like children's chairs.
It's
Ben
the best. I mean,
so
at our school,
yeah.
luckily they do it in like the cafeteria, the NPR, so they bring out the benches and there's no like humiliation ritual with it. But I was like looking forward to doing that, like sitting in the little desk because there's nothing like a good back crack in one of those like school desk chairs. I miss that. I hope in high school they bring that back because I'm dying for it. Um, but it's very like SNL Chris Farley. Not that like Ben's a big guy, but he is like a tall man, and it's very like an SNL sketch. I can see that like big dad trying to get in like the kindergarten, the toddler kindergartner's chair. It's so
We've
cute.
got a lot of comments coming in, I can see. So clearly people, if you want to raise your digital hand
Yeah,
and join
raise
this
your hand,
conversation
talk
later,
to
you
us.
can.
It's so good.
Um, Really quickly, also, Miranda and I are now watching this season of Euphoria. I don't know if you guys are too. It is, I can't stop watching this, and it's on Sunday nights, but
Yeah.
it's on at like 9 o'clock, our 9 o'clock East Coast time. And normally the kids are in bed by that time. And last Sunday, Ben was like, do you want to like, watch something together? And I was like, no, I want to watch Euphoria. And he fell asleep next to me. And then he woke up. I'm not going to give it away for anyone who hasn't seen it, but there's a particularly violent scene at the end, and he woke up and he was like, what are you watching? And I was like, Euphoria. It's so crazy. But Sam Levin, excuse me, the writer and director, is getting a lot of shit for how violent it is, for how sexual it is, for it sort of being a Quentin Tarantino like wannabe knockoff. I personally am enjoying every second of it, and I'll tell you why, Miranda. Because it's true escapism. I'm not thinking about politics. I'm not thinking about the world. I'm not thinking about any of my problems. I'm thinking about what Rue is doing and what drugs she's inevitably going to get on. And number two, I find it like visually interesting. I do like the way he shot it, even if it is a Quentin Tarantino knockoff. Knockoff can still be interesting. And number three, I think the plot lines are good. And then I forgot the name of the actor who tragically passed from MS, who
Angus
plays the
Cloud, yeah.
dad.
Oh,
No,
Eric Dane. Sorry, ALS.
Eric
He
Dane.
had,
So
yeah.
he's performing while having ALS, and so his voice is different, and he obviously physically looks different. But I actually think it's very brave and cool that both he and Sam Levin decided to continue filming, and
You
this
know,
character that's like a literal pedophile that in the show, who's
yeah,
not a
you know how
warm
they
person.
decided to keep his character engaged in the show while he's like, trying to go get through ALS and whatever medical treatments that they were doing was they just decided to make his character a raging alcoholic. And that's why he's like always drinking a beer or always has a bunch of beer bottles in front of him and he's slurring his words because he's like, how am I going to get through this dialogue and any of this character work? And he's always sitting, and or if he's walking he's stumbling around, and that explains it because he's just drunk the whole time. And he's playing it brilliantly because I mean that's the physical symptoms of it, and the way that they are involving him is way more intimate than they've ever involved this character of Cal before. I think this is the most we've ever seen of him in
It's
since the
really good.
ever in all. And it's like everyone is complaining about the tonal change. I've been like a Euphoria day one. Um, there had to be a tonal change. They can't stay in high school forever. And it's
They're
kind of
old
like,
now. They're older.
yeah, and it's like turned into a very like Western theme, which I appreciate. So, I'm with you. I like it. It's very funny. It's funnier than it's ever been. Just because it's so outrageous. There's a lot of juxtaposition to the things that are happening, specifically in that closing scene when um something very violent is happening while someone else is having their own personal meltdown, and it's just so beautifully acted. Everyone is so good and at the top of their game. And they were unknowns except for Zendaya when they got cast. And who would have thought Oscar winner or excuse me, Oscar nominees and all of that
Sydney
from it.
Sweeney.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
if
incredible.
anyone wants us to do like a recap show, please let us know. We're always looking for more stuff to do. But
Hmm.
like I said, we're both really enjoying Euphoria. I've read a lot of hate and it's getting really shitty reviews, but I'm enjoying it. Again, anything, it's really simple. Like you just have to make me not think about the like depravity of the world we're currently living in, and I'm happy to watch it. I'm also currently watching The Testaments, for anyone who wants, which is the
Oh, is that a
Handmaid's Tale
prequel
prequel
or okay
sequel. Yeah,
sequel?
it's very
Okay.
good. It's
Yeah,
all
I was
about
reading
Jane's
something
daughter.
about like like all the forgive me, I don't live in the world of The Handmaid's Tale, but it's their companies are all like the names of major companies, right? Like the boss ladies. I don't know the name, what they're called. It's like,
No, they're like biblical names.
oh, I thought it was like Lady Estee, and like I'd have to look into
No.
it. There was something I was watching. Okay, no, never mind.
Sarah's here. It's very good though.
Oh, yay!
Sarah's here. We're very excited to bring in, as we said, our friend, Lady Sarah Elliott of Micklefell. Do we say that right, Sarah?
Did. Great.
Amazing. She is the director of U.S. relations for the British think tank, the Prosperity Institute, and you can find her on X at underscore Sarah underscore Elliott. She is our resident royal expert and friend. Thank you so much for coming on, Sarah. We're so happy to see you. And Sarah's going to stay for the whole show, not just talk royal news. So we're excited about that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, fun. No, thanks for having me. It's great to be on.
Really quickly, is this basically like your Super Bowl? Having King Charles here in the United States, since your whole job is trying to, foster diplomatic relations between the UK and the United States.
Yes, it is a Super Bowl. It's super fun. I totally nerd out. And I've now been able to do it like twice this year because the king came over in September. So it's very exciting. And I was actually at the White House when the Queen came 19 years ago,
My gosh.
which is crazy, which ages me. But I was on the White House South Lawn for that. And I remember when Bush misspoke and said, "Oh, thanks for, coming in 1770." And then he was like, "Oh, you're not that old." And
I miss
and then
him.
gave a look only a mother could give. But yes, I mean it. I really think the state visit went as well as it could be expected. I mean, actually, it probably went beyond expectations, and I mean, it did not pass me by the irony that the heir of King George III united the U.S. Congress and got both
Yeah.
sides to stand up. And just the irony of that. But he looked like he was enjoying himself in that speech. It was a beautiful speech. In fact, I think
Really
both,
quickly, before we get into it,
yeah.
can we show a clip for everyone? We have one in case people have missed it, which is King Charles giving a speech in front of Congress yesterday. Number three, sorry.
The alliance that our two nations have built over the centuries, and for which we are profoundly grateful to the American people, is truly unique. And that alliance is part of what Henry Kissinger described as Kennedy's soaring vision of an Atlantic partnership based on twin pillars, Europe and America. That partnership, I believe, Mr. Speaker, is more important today than it has ever been.
Okay, and really quickly, I just want to show everyone a clip of the royals greeting President and First Lady Trump yesterday. Obviously, Melania just looks so beautiful every single time. And I actually thought Camilla's dress was really gorgeous as well, that white one. This seems I'm no expert. I'm not an expert like you, Sarah, but this seems very warm, friendly, emphasizing our special alliance, as you have talked about before, that Ronald Reagan and Queen Elizabeth did back in the 80s. What do you make of all this, and how historic was his address to Congress?
It's really important because U.S.-UK relations and NATO relations are at an all-time low. This has been an incredibly dramatic 2026, starting with Venezuela. In January, the Prime Minister Starmer did not support that. Then you go to the president's demands to have Greenland. That really, really soured relationships in Europe on the eve of Davos. And then you have the Iran war, where The UK wouldn't allow the US to use airspace and also military bases at first, unless it was for defensive action. That has since changed. And also, the Brits were giving away these islands where a joint UK-US military base is called Diego Garcia on the Chagos Islands. They were giving sovereignty away to a Chinese ally, and President Trump had to stop that. So, and you also have the UK ambassador being called out in the Jeffrey Epstein saga and drama, and he lost his job. So and then also the Epstein documents were taking down a royal, Prince Andrew. So it's been a lot of drama between the Brits and the Americans. And, Donald Trump has not held back the fact that he disagrees with Prime Minister Starmer. And he's very critical about their environmental policies, their net zero goals, which means they can't drill their own oil and coal and natural gas. So it's just, and the defenses of Europe are really bad at the moment. Like, the capabilities are super behind the United States. So they're not really able to support America in a military conflict. So all of this is like adding up. So the king's visit was huge. I think it's a great testament to the constitutional monarchy, where you have a family that is above politics and can focus on that long-standing relationship and remind people of these ties and what is really about. It's about that, we get our definition of American liberty from the British Enlightenment. The Magna Carta, over 200 times the Magna Carta is mentioned in Supreme Court cases. It is our language. It is the religion of our founding fathers. There's a lot there. And of course, we forged bonds through war. So all of that's there. And the fact that the king was incredibly gracious and had a sense of humor and somehow found a bell on a submarine that was named Trump that's gold.
That is hilarious.
To give the president. Like, that was pulling a rabbit out of a hat. He hit a home run, and so accessible to people at the British Embassy, where they had a garden party. People were just walking up to him and talking, and there was no reception line. It was really, he knows what he's doing. He's a seasoned diplomat, and I honestly think, I know this is going to sound dramatic, but I think this might have saved the Western Alliance, at least for the time being. I think we're on a different trajectory right now.
Well, first of all, everyone who lives in DC knows, and as you know, because you lived in DC for a long time, that the British Embassy throws the best parties, and it's the best place to have a party. It is the literal crown jewel, not to use a double entendre, of where people want to go. So when I saw that it was there for all the obvious reasons,
So
I was like,
beautiful.
oh, it's stunning. I mean, like, well done to our British allies
Yes,
over there.
well
They're
done.
one year. How is it being received in the UK?
It's being received really well. The British, they don't take compliments very well. They get really embarrassed, and
Same,
they much
yeah.
prefer to talk badly about events, or actually take what we say, take the mick out of themselves, make fun of themselves, or be self-deprecating. So I don't think they know what to do with all this love. And you could kind of see it on the king's face when he's in Congress, like the responsiveness, the emotion. Like, it's like, oh, we don't do emotion. What is this? You like us? But it was fun. It's really good. I mean, I don't know if it was picked up in the American press, but there was some leaked conversations by the new British ambassador, taken back in February, but only released this week, saying that the special relationship was really between Israel and America. And people worried that this was going to spoil the state visit, but I don't think it has.
Can I ask
That's
you
really
about the king's health? Because we've been hearing for like a year that he's so sick, and has this horrible cancer, and he's, near the end, and William's going to step up any day now, and this is it for
talking
him.
to the mic, Miranda. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you guys can't
no
hear me.
problem.
And he looked great yesterday, or when
He
he was
did
giving
look
his
great,
speech.
yeah.
He looked, his skin was glowing, and I know a lot of that is like makeup and whatever, but he looked young, he looked vibrant, he looked healthy. He didn't look like it was an act. Is is he okay? Like, he seems fine. Is a lot of this just hype?
He has an incurable cancer. So it's one of these low-lying things that he's getting, I think some treatment for, and they're monitoring. But I think it's one of those things. It could just pop its ugly head up, and then the next thing you know, he's not able to do his public duties anymore. So.
Mm.
I do think there is a bit of a time clock on King Charles. He's not going to be around for very long, and you're starting to get signals in the British press putting William out there more, William talking about his faith, how it's important to him, because, when he becomes king, he'll be the head of the Anglican Church, the Church of England. And so you're starting to just see like more interviews and what's the future going to be under a King William? What's the royal family going to look like? So I don't think he's actually in the best of health. And, it's just probably a matter of time, but he is able to do his engagements now. And like you said, I thought he was fantastic all day, and these are long.
That was a long day.
These
I
are
was
long
tired
days.
and I didn't do
He made a
anything.
joke to Senator Cruz because he met Senator Cruz's daughters, and he like made a joke because he was like, she's studying at school, and he was like, she can't be studying too hard if she's here or something. He said something of that, like basically razzing them for taking their kids out of school to meet him, which I thought was very funny. You brought up Prince William. William and Kate celebrated their 15-year anniversary. We have a picture of them, number 11. I can't believe they've been together 15 years.
15
Um,
years.
I
Yeah, they
know.
shared this photo on their Instagram account featuring all their children, George, Louis, and Princess Charlotte. Do we have the photo? There it is. And they are, she's my favorite. I know you know that. She's your favorite too. I think she's your favorite too, Miranda. Look at that beautiful
Yes, they're
photo.
stunning.
I
My
know.
She's
goodness.
actually the most popular royal in the United Kingdom.
Kate is. Well,
Kate is.
I
And they
joined.
tried to destroy her, party girl and all that stuff in the
They're lucky to
beginning,
have
but
her, truly.
God, she's
Yeah.
Lucky to have her.
Yeah,
she
I
is
love
just
her. How is
a
her
literal
health?
queen, literally.
No,
Yeah.
she had her own cancer, bout, and are people seeing them more and more like the soon to be king and queen?
Yeah, and they just moved further out into the countryside in a much more low maintenance manor house. I mean, it's still it's pretty nice and
Yeah.
palatial, but they are trying, I think, to savor these family moments and these quiet times before real full-time, royal life kicks off and they're the head of the family. And Prince George will be going to secondary school, which is like a middle school, high school combination. So the children are getting older. I think they're just savoring their quiet family time as much as they can, because then they'll be really full on working royals, and probably will have to move into Windsor Castle or some place more central. She is still very active. She is out there. She's definitely a working royal. You can't even tell that she's had time off. She's just right back at it. She is talking a little bit more openly about what it's like to recover from cancer, and for a royal to talk about their feelings or what they've been through, that is kind of radical for the family. So she is putting herself out there more. Yeah.
We have to ask the elephant in the room, so to speak, or whatever. Harry and Meghan were snubbed. They're obviously nowhere to be found, despite the fact that he claims to like love American, be an American right now. We would like to send him back. Meghan actually put a post on her Instagram talking about how the hardest 7 years of her life are behind us. She referenced this like difficult period. Obviously, it says a lot that neither of them, Harry nor Meghan, are reaching out. Buckingham Palace did decline to comment on a potential reunion. I do know for a fact that Meghan and Harry's approval ratings are the exact opposite of Kate. They're extremely unpopular, even here in the United States. People are really sick of them. All they do is complain. All they do is just woe is me, and all they do is trash their family. It's pretty untoward. What do you make of what Meghan Markle posted, and also the fact that they're nowhere to be found?
Yeah, they didn't even have like a private meeting or anything.
Yeah, I think it's all really sad, especially the grandchildren don't know their grandfather and vice versa. Uh, yeah, so the problem with them is that of course they're a pseudo royal, right? They want to have their foot half in, half out. this is exactly what the Queen and the royal family did not want to happen, because then it confuses people as to who is representing the crown. What is your purpose? What are you trying to do? And it's brand Sussex, right? So they're also using their titles to kind of make money, make a name for themselves, and it's pretty shameless. Their approval rating, well, I should say their disapproval rating is 70% in the United Kingdom. They're an embarrassment, really. Nobody really wants to. No one says anything kind about them. Let's just put it that way. And I just find her moxie kind of admirable, because despite all this negative press in the US and in the UK, she still keeps going. She keeps putting
Hmm.
herself out there. She keeps winging a deal here and there. I mean, you got to respect the hustle, I guess. But it's just, they're not popular. They, it does. I don't see a reconciliation. No one is saying there's going to be a reconciliation between William and Harry anytime soon. William really, I think, feels burned by the spare book and all their, business ventures. And in one way, it's probably a good thing that they're not in a working royal family and in the UK at the moment. Um, they would just cause more drama. So I'm glad California has them. Sorry, Miranda.
Ugh.
Um,
They're pretty
but
far away from me. Yeah.
Good, good. But I just think I think again they're kind of shameless grifters, and this is what Prince William has got to watch when he becomes king. Because what about all these princesses like Prince Andrew and Fergie's daughters? Like, they were using their titles for all sorts of lifestyle perks and things. And so I think you're going to find a very much smaller, tighter working family, and anyone who is not a working royal will not get a title. Um,
Hmm.
and, and that will actually help future royals live normal lives. Zara, Princess Anne's daughter, does not have a title, and she's very appreciative of that. She's been able to, make a living and carve her own way without that kind of weight of being Princess Zara. So, um, yeah,
People
yeah.
like her, right? She's
Oh yeah,
popular. Yeah.
Zara's very popular. Yeah, Zara's very popular. Mike Tyndall, her husband, is also really popular, and I think they have a podcast, which William and Kate have been on. So yeah, I mean, everyone thinks that Princess Kate is going to be the one to save the royal family.
It's pretty amazing. One last thing on Meghan and Harry. They have signaled in the press. It's always, for those of us who work in the dark arts of politics, when someone's leaking something and it's pretty easy to figure out where it's coming from. They're clearly leaking that they want to have a reconciliation with William and Kate. They've done it several times and that they're open to it and open to going back. Um, if I were William and Kate, I would be like, how could they possibly trust them again? All they do is report and leak every interaction they have with them. And you're talking about the future King of England and then the other future King of England with Prince George. Is there any potential of anything going forward? I have read that King Charles would like some reconciliation, but that just may be because of his age and the fact that he has cancer.
I think it's a more King Charles would like that, before he passes. But the problem is you can't trust these guys. Are they going to show
Yeah.
up with microphones under their collar, like supposedly she wore to the Jubilee celebration? Like, you don't know what deals she's trying to get or what they're going to write about afterwards. And it's funny, they want reconciliation now that they basically have burned all their business opportunities, right? And
Mhm.
they don't have the Netflix deal anymore. And her lifestyle brand's not taking off. So do they need more fodder to create content? There's just, yeah, how can you trust them?
Yeah.
And it's really, it's very sad. I mean, a lot of people didn't think that the relationship would last between Harry and Meghan, but now I think they're just really hooked at the hip, because they need each other, and of course they have children. But I just, yeah, it's a very sad state of affairs. But I'm very supportive of Team Kate and Team
Hmm.
William, and I much prefer her fashion too.
I
So
do too. Not that there, it's like, is it King Edward? Is that the one who abdicated? It's like
Yes.
him and his mistress, or his, I guess she became his
Yeah,
wife.
Wallace,
But
Wallace Simpson. Yeah.
yeah,
What
they
is
just
bad,
remind
bad
me of,
American women, like
I know, really not making
spoiling
us
our
look good.
reputation over there.
I
It's like,
know.
But
no,
they at
people
least had the good sense to move to France where that
But they became Nazi
Right.
sympathizers and
That
hung
behavior
out with
was-
Hitler. So there you go. Don't let anyone forget that about that asshole. Sorry, but he like did a
There
lot
you
with the
go.
Nazis. So but that's not anybody's problem in modern times. Is there anything else you want to say about this historic visit? I know they had a state dinner last night. Anything else you just want to, put a button on before we move to other things? I'm personally, just given the shooting that just happened, here at the Correspondents' Dinner, it's really nice to have King Charles and Camilla here. It's nice to have some levity. It looked like everyone was having a good time at the state dinner last night. The vibe in the city, although it's always a pain in the ass when a dignitary like that comes here because traffic just becomes insufferable. But it is like genuinely nice to have them here right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's just I mean, this is like, my hobby and my profession. So it's the Oscars for me. So I just I love to ogle and follow everything. And guess what? It's my job. So it's not really like I can follow it quite closely at work and such. So I just want to point out the jewels that were on Queen Camilla this
Okay.
week. And two things that stood out to me were her American flag and British flag brooch that she wore when she landed. Which is
Love it. Yeah,
gorge.
love it. Yeah.
That was a gift from the New York City mayor to Queen Elizabeth II in 1957 on her first state visit. So it hasn't been worn in decades in public. So that was a very nice nod by the Queen. It was made by Cartier. And Matthew, actually, my husband, asked me, goes, "Oh, you should have one of those." And yeah, I'm going to point him right.
Mother's Day is
But
coming.
But I'm a
Yes.
Cartier. You should have one of those, though. If anyone should have one of those, it's you.
We all have aspirations. I can always just point him to Mayfair. And then the other were the jewels she wore last night at the state dinner, the amethysts and diamonds. Those are the Kent amethyst and diamond necklace that can be made into brooches, which the Queen really liked to wear, the Queen Mum really liked to wear, but it should be, and it's also a set of earrings. Those are some of the oldest jewels in the royal family jewel box.
Wow.
It hasn't been worn as a necklace since 1985 when the Queen wore it. And it was, they come from Queen Victoria's mother. So you're looking at 200-year-old necklace of diamonds and amethysts. And Queen Victoria's mother was the Duchess of Kent, and that's why they're called the Kent jewels. And I thought it was awesome that she whipped them out and wore them for this very special occasion. And I don't know if the ladies coordinated the pink, but I loved it. And
Me
I
too.
loved the Christian Dior that Melania wore. And Christian Dior is now run by a designer from Northern Ireland. So it is a bit of a nod also to the Brits.
I love it. My last final question for you, and Miranda can jump in anytime if you have anything else you want to ask on this. For people that don't know, Sarah is obviously an American. She married a British man, and she has American and British children, but they're living in the UK. So how do you keep them in touch with their roots here in the United States?
Good question.
Oh, that's a nice question. Thanks, Mike. Well,
It's important. And when I see
Yeah.
them, I'm always like, so Aunt Megan's going to take you shooting at some point. Don't listen to British people.
Good, please do.
Yes, when you're old enough.
Well, what have I done? I did. I like to do like American cultural things. So I taught them the baby back rib song from the commercial for Chili's baby back ribs.
That's pretty good.
And I was
That
like,
is
"You
a
just
pinnacle. Yeah.
you just need to know these things." And then of course, we watch the Olympics or things, but we only watch the USA teams. And
We're the best ones. Yeah.
and we chant USA. And I do, we take them to the beach every summer. As you know, Megan, we've been there together. The Outer Banks
Yeah.
is home, and they've got to know a proper beach with sand and not rocks. And
Yes.
and great American food. So I love bringing them home in the
Like
summer.
Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
Chick-fil-A. By the way, we got our first Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
in
in the
the
UK?
Wow.
Yes. And
Do
it's
you know?
20 minutes from my house, and it's I'm just so chuffed, as the Brits would say. I'm so excited. Chick-fil-A was the last meal I had.
Ashley's laughing at you saying chuffed.
It's really addictive, these sayings.
But also, you also have Danny Trejo's Tacos in London. I just found out, which is like a
Trejo's
reason
Tacos
to.
is awesome, by the way.
It's off
Really?
the chain. Like,
and
it
if
is
you get the donuts,
amazing.
like Trejo's Donuts, he has like also like a donut side job.
You
Like
know, he's Machete
amazing.
in the Robert Rodriguez movies. He's like very
Okay.
tough. You have to go there. I'm glad I'm telling you this now, but you have to go to Trejo's Tacos.
If you guys get a Trejo's Cantina, we had one in Woodland Hills, like walkable from my old apartment. So good, incredible.
Mhm.
Well,
So-
that's really good to know, because I have to say the biggest weakness that London has in terms of food is Mexican or Tex-Mex. It's just, so there's a market for that here for sure.
The
but yeah.
American markets there crack me up because it's like Pop-Tarts. It's like the crappy, like
I
Mac and
know.
like, all this
cheese,
like
like
crap.
It's like
Doritos.
Captain Crunch. It is bad, but I did, so I would also go into the schools to teach the kids in like nursery school what the 4th of July was. So that's
You're
what I
like,
do.
we kicked your country's ass.
Well, yeah, and I have told the girls that the British lost, but that we became best friends and made up, so it's fine.
That's not how the 4th of July is at our house.
No,
It's like...
it's not. I just saw something. What is the one thing you wish came over to the UK?
Oh yeah, what do you miss the most?
I mean, I love mac and cheese. There's just
Yeah, me
like
too.
something about American mac and cheese, and also ribs and
Wait, I know one
Air
thing. Actually, I know two
conditioning.
things.
Yeah.
Target. You miss Target because when I
Oh,
see you, you just
Target.
want to
Yeah,
come to
yeah, yeah,
Target.
Target.
Yeah. And the other thing is I may have picked Sarah up in our giant SUV and you were like, this is an American car. You got a big American SUV.
Like,
and I was like, I
spread
do. I got
out.
a big giant SUV. I have a Suburban, baby. Get in. Like that's.
Oh my gosh. I felt like I was in the land of giants. I was like,
You were
oh,
like, this car. You wouldn't stop talking about it. They were like, this car. And I was
I
like,
always
"That's
forget,
'cause
like
you're in
you
those
guys,
little
you guys
cars."
gave us the
Yeah.
Mini Cooper. Like you guys have tiny, like roller skate size cars. Those things are
Yeah.
terrifying.
oh,
Yeah,
I don't
everything.
love cars. Those.
Everything is smaller in the UK, like the bathrooms, the sinks, the houses, the sky, the cars. Like, I don't know, I feel like I go to the
Sky.
land
The sky.
of the miniature. But then when I get out of Dulles Airport, it's like this massive sky, like, and sun, and I'm like, oh, I'm not in Kansas anymore.
I met some British people recently and they were like, I was like, what do you think of when you think of America? And they said Las Vegas. They're like, we think of cowboys in Las Vegas. And I was like, okay, that's a good, okay. Like cowboys, I
Interesting.
get, obviously, like
Sure.
horses, cowboy hats, whatever. And they were like Las
Yeah.
Vegas. And I was like, yeah, you don't have a Las Vegas there. Like, at least that I'm aware of, like equivalent of it.
No, a lot of people from the UK go to Disney World in Orlando, they go to Florida, they go to New York City, and they go to Vegas. Those are like the big hot spots. And I always tell people, well, please rent a car and see more of the country, because
Totally. Yeah. Well, great destinations. There's more to it
Yeah.
than that. But I always, like I said, I love that you live in the UK. I love that you're our official UK correspondent. All right, I think we can move on. But like I said, everyone, it seems like both our countries are very thrilled that King Charles made a trip here. President Trump and Melania seem just elated for whatever that's worth. And
They
he,
did.
I think they needed it for whatever that's
Yeah.
worth, especially
Yeah.
after what happened over the weekend. It felt like a very solid reset to
Mhm.
a lot of things that have been going on, even aside from the shooting attempt.
Yeah.
It was very necessary, and I'm really, really glad that they didn't pull out. I was worried, and quite frankly surprised that it didn't get postponed or changed, and it went on as planned. Very, very relieved. It was a beautiful, beautiful cultural exchange. So I love it.
I've
Absolutely.
never seen Melania
Spectacular.
smile so much.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
she's kind of like very introverted. She doesn't really want to be around a lot of people. It's the vibe I get. And for her to be doing that all day long is a lot. And she didn't seem very bothered by it. So I think she found her people in the British.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really
Good.
quick, I want to switch gears, but this is also like in the vein of like style and fashion. So I don't know if you've seen this, but Secretary of War Pete Hegseth's wife, Jen Hegseth, is getting a lot of shit online, basically, because she wore a dress to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. We have number 6, please. We can show the dress. It was actually from Shein or Temu. It's different reporting, but both are shown online for about $25. You can buy her dress. She's facing a backlash because not only is the dress cheap, but because it comes from one of those like fast fashion China, here we go, labor practice sites. It's more seen as like, and then you can see that her shoes are Steve Madden, and then her handbag is from Amazon. So she's a thrifty lady going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and this is her in different outfits over the years that are from Shein and Temu. And those are those, like, I don't shop at those places because of obviously the China stuff, but also the environmental aspect of it. Like, I just think that when you have kids, I've just started, I'm not like a crazy person, but you just think about more about kind of like the resources, what you buy, what is shipped to you, how many boxes you get. And I don't like fast fashion if I can handle it. We all have our moments at Target, but as a general rule, I don't like fast fashion. This is viral all over social media. What do you make of her choice to wear a Temu dress? Me personally, I just want to style her. She's a pretty lady. And I'm like, we can get some vintage dresses that are not expensive. There's also other designers that are not horribly expensive that I just think would look a lot better on her. And I do think the White House Correspondents' Dinner of all moments is a time to really up our fashion. And yeah, I think she can look a lot better. And not that she's not a beautiful woman. It's just, it was ill-fitting.
Or even just borrow. I mean, her friend Katie Miller is pregnant. You mean to tell me she doesn't have a dress that she could borrow from her? That Temu and Shein stuff drives me a little
There's
bit
also
nuts.
conservative designers that will lend. Trust me, I know all of them.
Right. So it's like maybe she might need just some help and some information, a little bit of a guidance or a push. It's like that stuff, you wash it one time and it's shredded. So what was even the point if it's like a budgeting concern? And if it's I like that style, then I mean, you can find something in an actual natural fiber that's not polyester or whatever it is that they make that stuff out of, because those are those things that you pull them out of the package and you can smell them from a mile away. I don't know what that stuff is called. Rayon? I don't know what it's called. But I don't like that she's being dragged for it because, we do what we can with what we have. But it just seems like this is not the best choice to make when you're that high profile and people are coming for you. So you're going to get dragged, especially for something high profile, like you said, for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Beg, borrow, steal, whatever, or not steal, but you know what I mean. But do what you can to not draw attention to the fact that this is a Temu or a Shein dress, especially because it's like slave labor makes those clothes. It's just a big problem overall.
Well, how many children does she have? Does she have like 4, 6 kids?
They have 7, but they're like different mothers.
Oh.
Yeah, he has different. He has 2 ex-wives and I believe a baby mama. Not to put a too fine point on his personal life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
so it's public. I'm not speaking out of turn.
They're not all her children.
No.
I think she's looking after 7 kids.
I think they have 1 together and they have 4. I think again, they have 1 together and then the others are the kids from different marriages.
Yeah. No, I agree. Maybe you'd think Jeanette Rubio might take her under her wing, fellow Floridian.
Yeah.
Wife of a cabinet member, and be like, let's go shopping together.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing to get dragged for. And the woman who's dragging her the most is a socialist. And there's a part of me that's like, well, aren't you supposed to be for like cheaper things? Like, aren't you supposed to be for like I feel like some of these people, like, she can't win. If she went to the event wearing a $5,000 dress, they would drag her for that. But she goes to the event wearing a, $45 dress and she's dragged for that as well. It's like, well, what is she supposed to do? Like I said, Jen can call me. I know all the I know all the tricks of. And vintage shopping, one of the ways I've gotten around black tie shopping is like the Real and consignment sites, because there's a lot of people that will resell dresses they've like worn like once and they're very expensive. And if I had chosen to go on to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, my dress was I bought it off the Real and it was like $350. It wasn't crazy. So I'm just saying there are ways to work around it. Yeah. For an evening gown. Yeah. It was like, and also my size, I have babies. I'm big. Like, it's hard to find my size in evening gowns. Everything's a size 2 everywhere.
Especially when you're trying to find something that is upcycled or whatever it is that we're calling stuff now. That's, I don't want to say the term used, because if it was worn once or twice, it's not used, but I think
Yeah.
that is that what we call it, upcycled. But
Mhm.
anyway, yeah, that's what she should be doing, or rent the runway, where you can
Yeah.
borrow stuff that's, nice. And I think it's like $100 or something a month to borrow an evening gown for a night or two. It's like so many people I know that have to go to a lot of weddings do that so that they are not constantly purchasing dresses, for events and stuff. So
Sarah,
there's things out there.
we're going to move on to an even weirder story. This is a crazy story. Ashley and I were talking about it before the show started. So I don't know if you know this, but Congressman Thomas Keene Jr. of New Jersey has been missing for almost 2 months. We have a picture of him. Number 8, please. Nobody understands where he's at. There are questions about transparency and accountability in Congress. Obviously, he has been absent for 2 months, missing votes with no explanation. His staff is now saying it's, quote, a personal medical issue, but the lack of communication is drawing scrutiny. I don't understand how you can just be missing for 2 months as a member of Congress and we're just finding out. And also a, quote, medical issue. I mean, is he alive? Like, what does that mean? Like,
Sorry.
that seems shady. No, I mean, like, that could mean anything. And I just think of Mark Sanford when he was hiking the Appalachian Trail, but he was really having an affair with his mistress.
Yeah,
Well, he was.
I remember all that. No, I absolutely think you have a duty to your constituents to say something, or at least have someone who can be in your place if you're going to be gone that long for an extended period of time. Like, I don't understand how you can just take a leave of absence and not be there. I mean, I assume the speaker knows what's happening and Republican leadership, but I don't know. It all sounds dodgy to me, and it's coming from New Jersey, so it probably is.
I know, that's what we were saying too. We're like, is the mafia involved?
I mean,
Like, they're like,
there's a balance between privacy and public explanation. If I just suddenly stopped showing up and didn't appear for 2 months worth of shows and we didn't say anything, that would be a problem, even if you knew where I was. You don't just flippantly say medical issue, because then no one's allowed to ask anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's ill. Maybe he's having a mental breakdown. I don't blame him. I think all of us collectively are. But at what point do his constituents primary him or recall him, or whatever it is that you get to do when someone isn't doing what they were elected to do?
Yeah.
is
How
is
long can you
Parliament
be
different? Like, if someone left Parliament for 2 months, would there be outrage?
They have. So, for instance, let's say you are charged with something, like with a crime. I mean, and you basically take a leave of absence until you're found innocent or guilty. I mean, that seat is still yours. No one replaces you, and that can be up to like 18 months or 2 years. I mean, so that, yeah, you can take leave of absences, but what do your constituents do when they have an issue? I guess they still work with your office. You still have employees that show up every day and a chief of staff, but I do think it's weird, and I don't think it's very democratic.
Mm-hmm. No,
They
But
I
didn't
totally
elect your
agree.
staff, they elected you. But I guess you're
yeah,
Yeah.
trusted to pick your staff. But again, we didn't pick that person, we picked you. So I
and
don't know. I'd be pissed.
and isn't the Republican majority like 4 people right now in the
Yeah.
House?
Like nothing. Yeah.
Like, I'd be
So
like, get your butt here. Unless you're, like
incapacitated.
answered. Yeah, incapacitated, but
Well, wasn't there like some lady in I want to say it was Texas, and she was like dead and still
Oh God.
technically in office? I could be misremembering that,
no,
but
I kind of remember the
right? Then
story.
that was like fairly recently.
If
So
anyone knows that, please write it in the
I'm
chat and
gonna
Ashley
look
will
it
let us
up.
know.
Uh,
We can move on though to our next amazing topic. Actually, this is really sad. Has this filtered over to the UK? So there's all this drama here because Jimmy Kimmel, who hosts the late night show, made a joke about Melania Trump being being a widow during his monologue, and then both our First Lady Melania Trump and President Trump and White House Communications Director Stephen Chung blasted Kimmel and then asked for him to step down. Jimmy Kimmel is not backing off. He says it's a joke. Let's play number 4, please, of the clip of Jimmy Kimmel saying why he won't back down.
Called to fire me from our First Lady, Melania Trump, saying I should be fired because of a joke I made, again, 5 nights ago. It was a pretend roast. I said, our First Lady Melania is here. Look at her, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow, which obviously was a joke about their age difference and the look of joy we see on her face every time they're together. It was a very light roast joke about the fact that he's almost 80 and she's younger than I am. It was not, by any stretch of the definition, a call to assassination, and they know that. I've been very vocal for many years speaking out against gun violence in particular, but I understand that the First Lady had a stressful experience over the weekend, and probably every weekend is pretty stressful in that house. And also, I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband.
And I just wanted to give you the floor, Sarah, because, excuse me, I'd love to hear the perspective of someone overseas.
Well, first off, this did not get much coverage over here in the UK, maybe because of the state visit or whatnot and other things going on. But his previous comments about Charlie Kirk got a lot of coverage, as did his sacking at the time, and President Trump asking him to be removed from the show. But it's so distasteful. And of course, that's not what he meant. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's poking the bear. He wants the White House to get involved. It's just really, it's distasteful. And look what happened a few days later. I mean, it almost happened again. And these guys are just shameless and they don't care. There's no decorum, and he's still supported in the role. So it's kind of like, well, what will it take for him to say, for him to lose his job? Like, what is actually so awful that he can't be on the show anymore? I just think, wasn't he on this Man show 20 years ago?
With Adam Carolla, yeah.
Yeah,
And
gross.
he was cool then. Wasn't he like kind of chubby and just one of the guys, like a lad hanging out, having beers and everything? And then he turned into this, very partisan hack late night show. I don't know. I think
the tagline for that show was like women jumping on trampolines. Like they were always like, and now we go to women jumping on trampolines. Like it's like he wasn't the feminist woke whatever then, like that show. And he also was like appeared in blackface before. Like he's not a pristine entertainer. I think my biggest I have many problems with this, but my biggest problem with like late night comedians and The Daily Show, which was once just such a incredibly important late night comedy show for so many reasons, and now is just completely irrelevant, even with Jon Stewart hosting it one night a week, is that comedians are like, we're truth tellers. I'm speaking truth to power using comedy. But then when they get hit back, they're like, I'm just a comedian. I'm just a comedian. It's like, no, you have to choose your lane. Are you a political commentator throwing fireballs like the rest of us? Or are you just a comedian and I'm a mic? I'm here to make people laugh. Like, blah, blah, blah. I remember when Jon Stewart was called out, he was like, I intro a show about like puppets, because there was like a puppet show that came on, like a Comedy Central show that had puppets on it. Like afterward, it's like, no, but you're actually like a really important voice that a lot of people listen to. And I think Jimmy Kimmel does the same thing. He's like, I'm just making jokes. It's fine. And then something serious happens, like the president's almost shot again. And he's like, I'm telling truth. You speak to Melania. And I just find it so obnoxious. And I'm so sick of these late night hosts being political analysts all day long. Fucking A, just make me laugh. That's all I want, is to be made laugh. I used to love Jay Leno. He was bipartisan. It was the one place Republicans could go on. So like, what? I just don't understand. Like, laugh, clown. Like, come on. Like, it's just, if you want to be a political analyst, do that. If you want to be a comedian, how about making me laugh once in a while? And nothing in that monologue made me laugh.
No, and he doesn't even seem like the political violence affected him. Like he doesn't even seem like he's worried about what happened at the White House Correspondents' Center. Oh, just another day, just another assassination attempt, and that kind of like desensitized reaction, I think, is really worrisome. and for all of us as a society that we're so accustomed to this now. And it's just not. Also, does anyone still watch these shows live at night?
No,
Or is
nobody's
it
watching
just
that.
I
for
don't,
clips?
I mean, it's clips. Did anybody even know that this had happened until it got put out on like Mediaite and got picked up? I mean, who watches these? Who are these shows for? I don't know.
They're for boomers.
Colbert's
It's like,
ending.
yeah.
Who
Yeah,
watches
Colbert's
them?
about to go off. They're expensive too. We were laughing when Colbert was announced that he was being fired. We were laughing so hard. It's $150 million a year for that show. We were like laughing so hard. We were like, for what? It's one studio. It's one camera set. Like, why is this so expensive?
It's a
What
1 hour,
like
like
gross
1
GDP
hour
of a
show once a
small
night.
country? Yes, that's getting like 2 million viewers. Like, what is this for? So I also think they're just too expensive. Last final thing on this, and I've told this story before. I was actually on a plane with Jimmy Kimmel one time, and what stood out to me most, I was sitting like in one row, and then he was like directly like a few seats ahead of me on the opposite row, and I could hear him and his wife speaking loudly, talking shit about Republicans. And I can remember being like, wow, even in your off time, like this is just your whole identity. Like you don't have nothing else.
How exhausting.
His
But
wife said that she won't talk to family members over politics. What a sad life you have. Like, okay.
So
Like,
joyless.
really?
But
Oh, God.
do you think they were doing that, saying that for you to hear? That they
No,
saw
I
you?
don't think they recognize me. This is a while ago. This is like maybe 10 years ago. I don't think they recognize me. I mean, I look very different without makeup on. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm not that famous, Sarah, so I don't think they would have cared. But
And also, like,
but
who
it was
doesn't
like
just put on headphones and mind their own business on
also
a
it was like a
plane? Like,
Southwest flight from Arizona to LA. It was not like it was like I will say we were all like on a normal flight. It wasn't like whatever. Anyway, I have to say an ad. Speaking of, really quick, Sarah, I hope there's Mother's Day in the UK. Is there?
There is. We had it like a month ago.
Oh, well, our Mother's Day is coming up in 2 weeks. And I don't know if you come back here into the United States, you should shop at Cozy Earth. I'm not sure if they ship to the UK, but if you want to spoil the moms in your life, you should go to Cozy Earth. As we have talked about, Miranda and I both like their bathrobes, their sheets, their body butter, all the stuff for home. I actually like all I want to do when I get home is be comfortable and be cozy and take a bath and just mellow out. And they have the best products and the best stuff. And we are offering a risk-free purchase, 100-night sleep trial, and 10-year warranty specifically for the sheets. And I have a promo code for you guys. Let this Mother's Day be a reminder that she deserves care too. Discover how Cozy Earth turns everyday routines into moments of softness and ease. Head to cozyearth.com and use my code McCain for an exclusive 20% off. And if you see a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here on Citizen McCain, because home starts with mom. And I love, like I said, their sheets. Get the woman in your life their sheets. Thank you so much to Cozy Earth. We love partnering with them. They're such a great company. I'm trying to think what I want to do one more thing with you, but it's a little, well, let me do two more quick things. We're running really quick on time, but we can do it. So you know who Charlemagne is, Sarah? He's the host of the Breakfast
Yes.
Club. Yeah,
Yes.
very, very popular host and
super
commentator.
influential politically too. Like,
Very, yes.
Yeah.
So he went on his show yesterday and he said that Trump should have violent assassination attempts at him, number 13.
Administration has caused so much pain to people's everyday lives that some folks are fed up and willing to risk it all. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And if you're going to talk about anybody toning down violent political rhetoric, start with the president, Donald J. Trump.
What is this? How does this come across? Yeah, I know it's pretty shocking, Sarah. How does this come across in the UK? I was thinking, even with King Charles's visit, we just had another assassination attempt. It's another gun violence event. I know people in the UK think that like everyone carries an AK-47 everywhere they go, which is not the case. How is this perceived? And then how is it perceived that like, does our country seem as divided overseas as it does, just living here right now?
I don't think these like little cultural nuances really play in the UK, but I will say is that you're finding you find more Democrat Americans overseas. So you find more Democrats in London and in the UK than I would say Republican. And in the first Trump administration, like hating on Trump was like the cool thing to do. And everybody was doing it so much so that as chair of Republicans overseas, which I was, I had to actually create a group that didn't have Republican in the name so we could have our own events in the city because nobody wanted to be associated with President Trump. It's toned down a bit now, but the image that the Brits get of America is actually a country that is taking charge and is kind of revving up again in terms of innovation and energy and investment, and obviously all the global conflicts and interventions that it's doing. It does seem a bit confused about why Donald Trump was against forever wars and now going into Iran and Venezuela and wants to take Greenland. And so they're kind of confused by all of that. But there's not a lot of talk of political assassination in the UK, or even that Democrats want to assassinate the president. But they really don't like it. Like, I remember I went into a jewelry store after the July 24 shooting at Butler, Pennsylvania. And the jeweler was like, "Oh, too bad that bullet missed."
Oh,
To me,
God.
like, not even knowing where I stood on things, but knowing that I was an American. So I thought that was shocking. We have lost in the last 10 years 2 members of parliament to assassination.
Oh, God.
We lost a woman 10 years ago this June, right before the Brexit vote, named Jo Cox, by kind of a white British national, took her out. And then
Oh, how
about
awful.
almost 4 years ago, Sir David Amos was killed by a jihadist
Oh,
stabbing. So it is, we hear about it, we experience it, but we don't have like the gun culture here. However, I hate to point out, we just had another anti-Semitic stabbing attack today in
I saw that.
Golders Green.
God.
2 Jewish
Um,
men got
um,
stabbed. Were they killed or just attacked?
I don't know
I don't
if
mean to
they
minimize it.
died, but they definitely got the attacker, and they tased him, and they were quite aggressive with him, which was, good to see, but terrible that the Jewish man was wearing a kippah on the street by a bus stop, and just this random guy came and stabbed him. So we're dealing with like that stuff. And we have, there is always talk about securing, MPs more. Women MPs get a ton of hate, and a ton of death threats. And many of them have left office because they can't handle it.
Well,
Not
that's
that
very
they can't handle
depressing.
it, they don't want to.
No, of
Yeah.
course. Well, on that note, Sarah, I just want to thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it. It's always so lovely to see your face. Thank you for being our official British UK everything related correspondent. And yeah, you can follow Sarah on social media on X at _Sarah_Elliott, EELLIOTT. And yeah, we just really appreciate your time today. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you for thinking of me. I'm glad I'm your correspondent.
Every time anything happens in the UK or not, but it's
Gotta
something
have
other
Sarah.
things too, but
Yeah.
specifically, yes. Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies. Great to see you and everyone else.
Thank you.
You too.
Right.
And we have one more ad for you guys really quickly, and then we're going to say
Oh.
goodbye. Very exciting. I know we have talked before about Fundrise. Here, we are so happy to have them as a partner, and support for the show comes from the VCX, the public ticker for private tech. For generations, American companies have moved the world forward through their ingenuity and determination. And for generations, everyday Americans could be a part of that journey through perhaps the greatest innovation of all, the U.S. stock market. It didn't matter whether you were a factory worker in Detroit or a farmer in Omaha, anyone could own a piece of the great American companies. But now that has changed. Today, our innovative companies are staying private rather than going public. The result is that everyday Americans are excluded from investing and getting left further behind, while a select few reap all of the benefits. Until now. Introducing VCX, the public ticker for private tech. Now available wherever you buy stocks, VCX by Fundrise gives everyone the opportunity to invest in the next generation of innovation, including the companies leading the AI revolution, space exploration, defense tech, and more. Visit getvcx.com for more info. That's getvcx.com. Carefully consider the investment material before investing, including objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. This and other information can be found in the fund's prospectus at getvcx.com. This is a paid sponsorship. Thank you so much to everyone at Fundrise, and thank you, Miranda. We'll be back again next week to talk all things going on in the world. And I apologize, I don't know who our guests are, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
It's a
I hope you
surprise.
guys, yes, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.